It's 9 p.m. in RT. Time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. We have the head of state presents the GIFA annual award to the Ethiopian Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed. For the international scene, Swedish Prime Ministers acknowledge victories of right-wing extreme right bloc. Welcome to our newsroom. The President of the Republic receives the French Minister of Armed Forces. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, received it late Thursday morning at the Palace of the Republic. The French Minister of Armed Forces, Mr. Sébastien Lecornu, in Djibouti as part of the 24-hour working trip. The audience between President Guelleh and the French Minister of Armed Forces served as a framework for the evocations of the privileged ties that the two countries maintain in all areas of cooperation. It served above all as platforms for exchanges on ways and means to increase the level of strategic collaboration between the two nations in the field of security and defense. The visit to Djibouti by the French Minister of Armed Forces comes on the heels of a recent telephone conversation between the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, and his French counterpart, Emmanuel Macron, and thus participate in the regular and periodic exchanges and contacts between the authorities of the two countries, with the age-old ties forged by histories and community, the community of important values, including culture and language. The ambassador of the French Republic to Djibouti, Mr. Arnaud Guillois, took part in the talks between the President of the Republic and the French Minister of Armed Forces on the Djiboutian side, in addition to the Minister of Interior and Acting Minister of Defense in charge of relations with Parliament, Mr. Saïd Nour Hassan, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, and the Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces. The French Minister of Defense said the French Minister of Defense, Mr. Sébastien Lecornu, said that that's why what the talks focused, among other things, on identifying new poles of security cooperation and strengthening the capacity of the armies of both countries to successfully carry out joint missions of deterrence and the adoption for the defense forces of both nations of operational modalities of actions redefined on the basis of security challenges, including terrorism specific to this region of the world. For his part, the Minister of Interior and Acting Minister of Defense, Saïd Nour Hassan, said that the audience between the President Guelleh and the French Ministers of Armed Forces served as a framework for the evocations of the privileged ties that the two countries maintain in all areas of cooperation. It served above all as a platform for exchanges on ways and means to increase the level of strategic collaboration between the two nations in the field of security and defense. The Ethiopian Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed Ali left the capital with his wife, Ms. Zinesh Tayeshu. Abiy Ahmed has left the capital in the company of his wife, Ms. Zinesh Tayeshu. On his arrival at the international airport, he was welcomed by the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed. The Ethiopian Prime Minister was awarded the Global Finance Award, GIFA 2022. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, handed the grand prizes to the Ethiopian Prime Minister, Dr. Abiy Ahmed, during a ceremony organized by the Global Islamic Finance Award in close collaboration with the Central Bank of Djibouti. This award for Ethiopian Prime Minister is a recognition of his continuous efforts to promote Islamic finance in Ethiopia. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, accompanied by the Ethiopian Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed Ali and the First Lady Khadra Mahmoud Haid and the First Lady of Ethiopia, Ms. Zinesh Tayeshu, then took part in the award ceremony of the 12th Global Islamic Finance Award, GIFA, several members of the government, including the Prime Minister Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed and senior officials in Islamic banks in Djibouti, as well as the CEOs of high-profile companies and various banks from several countries such as Malaysia, Pakistan, Indonesia, Djibouti, India, Ethiopia, Kazakhstan attended this event. This year's guest of honors of the 12th Global Islamic Finance Award is Ethiopian Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed Ali, who was honored for his dedicated efforts to promote Islamic banking and finance in Ethiopia. The Global Islamic Finance Summit held in Ethiopia discussed the themes and factors of the crucial role of the Islamic banking and finance industry for the development of countries in the African regions and in the world. Several folkloric singings and dancing troupes in the evening of the awarding of the winners of the World Islamic Finance. These awards are intended for industries and market leaders of Islamic banking and finance from more than 15 countries and 5 continents. The guests of honors of the award ceremony has the Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed on his arrival at the Kempinski Palace. The President of the Republic, First Lady Khadra Mahmoud Haid, were welcomed by the Prime Minister Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed and the President Director of the Global Award, Dr. Humayun Dar, as well as the Governor of the Central Bank, Mr. Ahmed Usman.
Welcome, welcome to Djibouti, Jambo Kwana. Akuna matata, inkwandena matatu. Akuna matata, inkwandena matatu. Ahlan sahlan sodawaaday arhiba. Ahlan sahlan sodawaaday arhiba.
Sida uu macnuhu sheegi arday macallin kama maarmo anna dhaqanka kama maarmo dhulka hooyo kama maarmo masagiyo hadhuurtumaya marka ay marwadu doonto marti inay ku sooryayso iyo mudaanihii reerka masagiyo hadhuurtumaya marka ay marwadu doonto marti inay ku sooryayso iyo mudaanihii reerka
بالمحبة والوئام أرض التمازج والأمان لتغري أفريقيا المساء أرض التمازج والأمان لتغري أفريقيا المساء والسفن تجري بانتظام بنياتها خيراتها والاقتصاد إلى الأمام ميناؤها متطور
The President Director of the Global Islamic Finance Award, Dr. Humayun Dar, and the Prime Minister Abdelkader Kamil Mohammed presented the award to the market winners from more than 15 countries on 5 continents. These annual awards of the 12 Global Islamic Finance Awards were presented to several national banks such as Sabah African Islamic Bank, East Africa Bank, Djibouti Salam Africa Bank. The award were also presented to industry players and leaders in Islamic finance and banking from several countries such as Islamic Bank and Finance Associations of Malaysia, Islamic Development Bank of Indonesia, and several senior officials in Islamic finance and banking circle of the countries. The 12 editions of the Global Islamic Finance Summit, which was organized in Djibouti in close collaboration with the Central Bank of Djibouti to discuss the adoptions of technology and innovations in Islamic banking and finance, it is crucial role in the economic development of Africa.
ضيع وان وديدناي كما ندالي دوني دوان وقفانيا
The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, presented the GIFA 2022 award to the Ethiopian Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed Ali in recognition of his continuous efforts to promote Islamic finance in Ethiopia. The CEO of the Global Islamic Finance Award, Dr. Humayun Dar, also presented the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, with an award for hosting the 12th Global Islamic Finance Award, GIFA 2022, and President Guelleh's advocacy for the development of Islamic finance. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, and Ethiopian Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed Ali, as well as the winners, took part in the family photo. And now listen to the CEO of the Global Award, GIFA.
It gives me immense pleasure and pride to present to you the 12th edition of Global Islamic Finance Awards, GIFA, in the beautiful surroundings of Djibouti Palace Kempinski, in the presence of such a distinguished gathering of leaders from around the world, many of whom are present here through virtual links. Before this award ceremony, we have held 11 annual GIFA Awards ceremonies in different parts of the world. This is our second GIFA Awards ceremony to be held in the African continent. We take a view that although a bulk of Islamic financial assets are located in the Gulf countries and the Far East Asia, Africa presents a huge opportunity for growth in the global Islamic banking and finance industry. Djibouti, a country of around 1 million, has achieved impressive milestones in Islamic banking and finance, and the neighboring Ethiopia is fast becoming an important player in this field. Djibouti is a country with 3 fully fledged Islamic banks, a couple of players in Islamic insurance, and a good scope for Islamic microfinance. Given its strategic geographical location, it has the potential to become an Islamic finance gateway to Africa, especially for the countries in the far eastern region, or in the East African region, to offer opportunities for integrating with the global Islamic finance hubs in the GCC and the Far East Asia.
Now listen to the Ethiopian Prime Minister, His Excellency Dr. Abiy Ahmed Ali.
Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, President of the Republic of Djibouti, Excellency Chairman of the Global Islamic Financing Award, honorable members of the award committee, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am honored and humbled to stand before you to accept the 2022 edition of the Global Islamic Finance Leadership Award in recognition of Ethiopia's efforts of promoting Islamic banking and finance. I have to share that upon learning previous recipients of this award have included my elder brother, President Ismail Omar Guelleh, a sense of gratitude filled me to be considered among a group of fine statesmen. Mr. President, over the past 4 years, Ethiopia has undergone sweeping political and economic shifts in the face of some daunting challenges. On the economic front, my administration is implementing a coherent and pro-growth reform agenda that recognizes the enhanced role of the private sector. A key part of our economic reform agenda has been our effort to strengthen the financial markets. We understood early on that a stable macro-financial system supports growth and job creation. Enabling savers to invest their financial assets with confidence and providing investors the predictability and finance they need to invest in job-creating projects have been 2 critical ingredients in growing the financial sector. The last 4 years alone, Ethiopia's banking sector nearly doubled in terms of total assets, deposits, loans, and branch outreach.
Now please listen to the Head of State, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Your Excellency, Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Prime Minister and dear brother, on behalf of the government and people of Djibouti, I am delighted to welcome you, His Excellency Ms. Zinash Tayacho, First Lady of Ethiopia, as well as the members of your distinguished delegates once again in our country. Djibouti and Ethiopia enjoy deep and robust ties and share a long history of brotherhood and solidarity that crafted an exemplary model of bilateral cooperation. I will take this opportunity to reiterate here the will of the Djiboutian government and people to forge ahead with our sisterly country, for I am confident that even greater opportunities lie ahead. Tonight, we are gathered here to celebrate the 12th edition of the Global Islamic Finance Awards, another area where we can further our regional cooperation by attracting foreign investment to the East African region and use it as a tool for economic development and inclusive growth that benefits all. Together, we can indeed make East Africa a regional hotspot of Islamic financial investments. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, GIFA reserves its highest award for heads of states and government, but also rewards the most deserving Islamic financial institutions in order to underline their outstanding corporate contributions to the development of Islamic finance. It is thus with real pleasure that I welcome the Prime Minister of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, Dr. Abiy Ahmed Ali, to this GIFA ceremony as a chief guest. I have to say, it is a particular source of satisfaction to me tonight to be able to present the prestigious 2022 edition award to you, dear brother. This highlights, if need be, your leadership and constant support for the promotion and development of Islamic finance in Ethiopia. I am confident that your wisdom and insights will further develop the Islamic banking and finance sector in our region. I would also like to thank all those who, through their precious support, contribute each year to the promotion and continued growth of Islamic finance. Last but not least, I am grateful to Professor Emayon, founder and chairman of the Global Islamic Finance Awards, for choosing Djibouti as this year's destination for the GIFA Awards ceremony and the Global Islamic Finance Summit. To the continued progress and success of Islamic finance, to the enduring friendship and solidarity between Djibouti and Ethiopia. I thank you all.
The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, made this statement this Thursday morning as part of his participation by video conference in the ceremony dedicated to the launch of the Center for Innovation and Excellence International Maritime Djibouti, device dedicated to the acquisitions of highly trained personnel in design, management, and masteries of trade related to the sea. The Center for Innovation and Excellence International Maritime Djibouti has its premises in the old port converted into the business and finance center. It is a learning platform with a large amphitheater-like room and premises for tutorials and practical experiments. China Merchant, a Chinese company specializing in the construction and operation of buildings and works related to the sea, is partners of the government of Djibouti around this project of the Center of Maritime Excellence. For his part, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, said, first of all, I would like to express my joy to be with you today in video conference to pay tribute to our partners who participate in the development of our cooperation by putting education at the center of the modernization of our countries and all of East Africa. With the establishment of the Center for Maritime Innovations and Excellence, the China-Djibouti cooperation is undoubtedly taking a new step. It is a very important step because it will make our country a place of training open to the world and will provide our young people and those of the whole regions with quality diploma. The main objectives of this center will be to help Djibouti to considerably improve its positions on the world stages by training a qualified workforce that is essential to make our country a major logistic and commercial platforms and a world-renowned business center in close collaboration with our centers for leadership and entrepreneurship and DPFZA, the Center for Maritime Innovations and Excellence, will develop a number of training programs in clearly identified areas that will be taught by internationally renowned speakers. The spirit of initiative and entrepreneurship will be encouraged and developed, and co-working space will be guaranteed, and a startup fund will be set up to support trainees in creating their businesses. In a globalized world where maritime trade represents 80% of world trade and provided will allow Djibouti's youth and more broadly the youth of the East African region to acquire all the skills required to master and develop multimodal trade. Let me assure you that the Djibouti authorities will work with determination to ensure that these ambitious initiatives to provide our youth with excellent training is successful. More than any others, these programs demonstrate the important place of education and training in Djibouti-China cooperation. I therefore declare this first training session is open, and thank you for your attention. Djibouti, South Sudan, signing of an important framework agreement of cooperation in the oil and gas fields. On the sidelines of his participation in the 5th edition of the annual Oil and Energy Conference in Juba, the South Sudanese capital, the Minister of Energy in charge of Natural Resources, Yonis Ali Gedi, and his counterpart, the Minister of Oil of South Sudan, His Excellency Piotr Kong-Chol, have at the end of a bilateral meeting signed a framework agreement between the two countries. Piotr Kong-Chol have, after a fruitful bilateral meetings, proceeded on Tuesday afternoon, September 13, 2022, to the signing of an important framework agreement on oil-gas cooperation. The purchase of crude oils and refined petroleum product, the realizations of the construction project of the oil pipeline linking South Sudan to Djibouti through Ethiopia, the exchange of experience, as well as the identification of cooperation opportunities in the field of services related to the hydrocarbon sectors are at the center of this framework agreement of cooperation between the two countries. Were present at the signing ceremony of the agreement of cooperation the chargé d'affaires of the Embassy of Djibouti in Juba, Mr. Hassan Roble Mahmoud. For the international scene, Swedish elections, Prime Minister acknowledged victories on right-wing, far-right bloc. An unprecedented bloc of right-wing and far-right voters has won the Swedish parliamentary elections by a slim majority over the incumbent left-wing party, according to the almost complete results announced on Wednesday. At the end of a final day of counting Sunday's highly contrasted election, the outgoing Prime Minister, Social Democrat Magdalena Andersson, acknowledged her side's defeat and announced her resignation as effective Thursday. I thank you for the trust. Now we will put Sweden back in order. She immediately reacted on Facebook, the one who is to succeed her, the leaders of the Conservative Party, Ulf Kristersson. I now begin the work to form a new effective permanent, he said. He added with 176 seats, including 73 for the far-side Swedish Democrat Party, and the four-party bloc is narrowly ahead of the left-wing bloc, 173 seats. According to a near-final count of more than 99% of polling stations, the results of which were made public by the elections authority. Sunday's election were so close that it was necessary to wait for a count of a few tens of thousands of missing votes on Wednesday to validate the complete result, which finally swung one of more seats from the left to the right. And to close up this edition, Qatar focused on World Cup businesses. The state of Qatar has spent $220 billion to build world-class infrastructure, including new roads, public transport, hotels, and sports facilities. The games will be played in 8 high-tech stadiums, ensuring maximum comfort for spectators. 1.5 million fans are expected to visit Qatar for this historic event, giving a boost to the tourism sector and the hospitality industry. Qatar expected the World Cup to bring $20 billion to its economy in the short term, and infrastructure benefits are expected to last for decades. The last 12 years have been a very busy time for economic development, which has really been stimulated and accelerated by the World Cup, says Nasser Al Khater, General Manager of the 2022 FIFA World Cup Qatar. It is all part of a big development in 2008, and what we are looking at is really the impact of that playing over the next 20 years. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.